What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the best basketball podcast on the planet, the League Report podcast. Guys, if you're listening, do not forget to download new episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Do not forget to go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help get us to 300 subs. Right now, we're sitting at 271. So keep running those subs up, keep running the likes up, all of that. The big goal from this point forward is 500 subscribers. Please help us get there. I think we can definitely get there by like early April. I think we can get to 500 subs by early April if we play our cards right.
Yeah.
You guys think that?
Yeah, you never know, because sometimes we didn't been at like I remember at one point we was at 150, and then we checked like 2 days later and we was at like 180 before. That's happened.
Yeah.
We've gotten like 30 like subs over the like 2 days before. So it's definitely possible.
We went crazy over the break, dude. I forgot what the number was I gave you guys, but we over those 4 weeks we gained like that was our biggest like time interval, like as far as subscribers go. So you never really know what it's going to be. So it can be those YouTube shorts, it can be the video. That's the thing about YouTube is you never know which one of your videos is going to blow up. So man, go ahead, run the numbers up, all of that good stuff. Like really, also we're trying to get more downloads. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to listen to us on Apple, smash that download button, and do that with every single episode. And do not forget, we're out twice a week with new episodes. Yeah. So, fellas, how we feeling on this another cold day on campus? How we feeling today?
I think I'm feeling pretty good. I know my girlfriend, she sick. I don't think she got COVID because she like tested negative for it. So it's good that it's not COVID. So I wish I pray for her. She feel a little bit better on this. What is it, Tuesday? That's not Tuesday. I'm tripping.
Thursday. Yeah, for sure.
Good Lord, you off by 2 days, dude.
It got me off. Shit, I might got him.
I had a teacher who thought she had it. She just found out she tested negative. Yeah. But I still like they give you the opportunity to like work remote or stay, do class. I don't want to say it's a hybrid class, but she'll do a lecture. It's a live in-person class, but then she'll put all the lectures and stuff on like online. So I decided that I'm not going to go to her class and all of that if she has a cough and everything. But
Is it a big class?
Yeah, it's one of them big old lecture halls. Now I get it, but I always sit in the front. I always sit in the front and shit. So
like the look, it's got like a stadium set up. It's not a stadium, but it has a stadium set up.
Yep, that setup. Yeah, but I always sit in the front. I don't want to be nowhere near nobody.
Like the theater type setup. That's what I said. Yeah, I ain't had that experience. Ooh,
you don't have a lot of really big classes, do you?
Nah, because my major is like environmental science. There's not a lot of people that do that. So
I think last time I had like auditorium was like freshman year.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn,
that's the word. I was trying to think of
classes are like the smaller classroom settings.
I think I like being in the smaller class, especially now, like being in those larger classrooms, especially when there's like a test being taken. Like I remember one time, bro, it was the first test I had back in person, beginning of last semester. I remember they had to seat everybody in specific spots. So I had to sit like smack dab in the middle. And I had a dude sitting next to me, bro, was coughing. And he had no mask on, bro. I swear to God, I was getting mad as hell. So
I forget that y'all don't have a mask mandate up there.
Y'all got a mask mandate, don't y'all?
Oh yeah.
That don't make no sense.
You can't step foot in the building without a mask on.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they don't, because now that you see it used to be last semester, it's like if you're not vaccinated, wear a mask. But now it says wear a mask. It doesn't even say if you're not vaccinated, but people still don't follow it.
Yeah. Thing is, they play with the language. So like they say we recommend that you wear one. Like that's where we're at right now. But it's different than having that mandate. They need to put that mandate back up because
if you say recommend, that means I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
You can if you want to.
That's what I'm saying.
We're not gonna make you.
Right. It's like there's really no point. Yeah.
There's no point of putting that up there. Honestly.
That's what I'm saying. Because damn well ain't nobody. At this point, people are finna, if it's not a mandate, people are just gonna do whatever they want, obviously. Yep. So I hope the mandate goes up because I really hate being in large classrooms with sick people. So even if it's not COVID, whether it's the flu and all of that, I don't want to catch it from you. So
if I was you, I'd sit my ass on the outside of class and get some earbuds connected to their auditorium.
I'm about to
listen to it.
Yeah, I'm about to with all this what they say. What's it called? Omicron.
I'm the Cron.
I'm the trick.
I used to call it Omarion.
Omarion. With that going on, I'm about to make that decision to probably just start looking at some of these lectures like after they're recorded. You know what I'm saying? I may start doing it because I really don't trust some of these people out here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I don't trust nobody. No,
man, don't trust nobody, bro. Nobody. Not even y'all too.
Yeah. Don't trust me. I don't know what I have.
I wouldn't trust Carl.
Why?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust me either. I wouldn't trust myself either.
Yeah, whatever. I wanted to revisit something today. I'm not a very we spend like every single episode talking about Carl's team of the Lakers, and I think it's fair today for me to criticize my team a little bit more. From the beginning of the season, I'm talking about the Wizards. From the beginning of the season, I kind of saw this shit coming. You know, I don't want to disrespect the roster and I don't want to disrespect the talent. There are a lot of really talented guys on the team, from Spencer Dinwiddie to Montrezl Harrell to now he's back, Rui Hachimura to Kyle Kuzma and all of those guys. I don't want to disrespect them, but I did think the makeup of this team was a little bit weird. And I thought the makeup of the team was weird also considering the situation with Bradley Beal. So while they got off to this really, really good start to the season, I kind of did think Carl said it with Cleveland or some of these other teams that they were going to have this big time start and they were going to fall off at some point. For me, that's how I felt with Washington. And it's ironic considering that's my favorite team. But lately, I think a lot of this stuff is catching up with us. We're not a good offensive team at all. We're not a good defensive team. You know what I mean? There were points in time where there were chemistry issues. I know Montrezl Harrell and KCP apparently allegedly squared up in the locker room in the middle of a game. It's just a really weird, it's just a really weird situation with the Wizards. And like I said, I can't sit here and act like I didn't see it coming because I did. I said the makeup was weird. I know we have a new coach and I want to give newer coaches a lot of time and all of that. But, you know, everything considering Washington is really strange when you're thinking about the point that they're trying to bring back a guy in Bradley Beal who's already kind of playing around with the contract thing. I mean, he said allegedly a couple of days ago, they're saying that he's not going to sign this extension offer that was given to him. You know what I mean? So really weird situation. I like I said, I saw it coming. And I mean, there are a lot of culprits. There are a lot of guys to point out. You know, I say one guy I really want to point out is Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm a fan of him, but he has been, we criticize guys for being mid all the time, but nobody's talking about how much that dude has been shitting all over the court. It's just not been great basketball we've seen from a guy that I think we expected to be like a 20-point a game scorer. You know what I mean? So
you saying he fumbling with the contract? He ain't worth his money. He ain't playing worth his money right now.
He's not, and like I said, I mean, maybe it could be the thing. He is coming off of last season with Brooklyn. He only played 6 games. You know what I mean? And or maybe even less. And he was trying to adjust to a new role, and a bunch of unfortunate stuff happened. He's still a very talented scorer, but when you look at things right now, how they are, and also considering he's been one of the more consistent guys on the roster, because there was a stretch where Beal wasn't even playing. You know what I mean? There was a stretch where Trez wasn't even there. He's been there he's been more consistently than a lot of those guys and still hasn't really found his stride. You know, so he's one of the culprits. I would suspect, and we talked about it on a pod like a couple of months ago, we said that maybe the Spencer Dinwiddie and Brad Beal backcourt could be better than the Russell Westbrook, Brad Beal backcourt because you have more shooting and better shot creation and all of that. Now it's looking a little bit worse, you know, and as I said, I kind of saw it coming. You know, you guys, it's funny to me that you guys were a little more optimistic about my own team than I was. You know what I mean? But I think that's the thing about being an NBA fan. You're going to be more critical of your team than a lot of other people are. Like, I know with Carl straight up, me at least, I'm hopeful with the Lakers, but Carl's like, nah. Blake's a hater. Blake don't like the Lakers, but
I'm not a hater. I'm a realist.
I'm a realist. Yeah, but like I said, that's the thing about being a fan is you're going to be more critical of your team. And like I said, this is just a really, really weird situation that we're in. Even if the best we're going to end up doing is maybe squeaking in the playoffs and maybe being like getting in there as like an 8 or a 7. Maybe that's the absolute best.
Yeah.
Even so, it's kind of like right now we're trying to answer the question, what's going to make Bradley Beal happy?
I don't even know if that's going to happen because honestly, seeing you all playing, giving up a 35-point lead.
I wouldn't even think about
that. Which has to be the biggest. That's probably not the biggest league giving up, but it's near it. It has to be one of the.
Yeah, it's one.
It's probably one or
it broke some kind of record.
It did break some kind of record.
2 or 3. Yeah. Probably 2 or 3 because I think somebody's giving up a 40-point lead. You would be surprised.
Yeah.
People give up, but to give up a 35-point lead just symbolizes that you all are probably going to be on the downfall.
Yep.
You're probably not going to make the playoffs because it's just like you're losing 4 games and winning 2 and losing 4 more and winning 3. So that's going to, I don't know. You all might end up being 500 and who knows, but I don't think you're going to make it now. I changed my mind on that. So.
Yeah. We're inconsistent, and there's nothing you can point at with this team and say, okay, boom, they excel at this. You know what I'm saying? Like with some of the best teams in the NBA right now, we can point at some things and say, okay, they're good at this. Like with Atlanta, we know at some point that right now they're probably, I don't know right now if they're in the playoff picture as of now.
Yeah.
You know, but we're 11. A little more.
They're
11. Yeah.
They just outside of it.
Yeah, but then we look at them and we're like, okay, boom, this is one of the best offensive teams in the NBA. When they can figure out the defense thing, they're going to be right back in the mix. With us, like I said, there's just not one thing we're really, really good at. You know, we don't really have those guys next to Bradley Beal who can make up for the point that we don't really excel. Like the Lakers, there was a point where, I mean, right now the Lakers don't really have something that they just excel at as a team, but you're a little more hopeful because they have a bunch of talent there. And, you know, it's not the same way with the Wizards. To talk about that 35-point lead, did you guys see how it went down? It wasn't even a 30-point. There was Reggie Jackson wasn't even the best guy on the floor for the Clippers.
Luke Kennard was.
Luke Kennard, Amir Coffey cooked us. You know what I'm saying? It was bad. It was embarrassing as hell to lose to a team. And I don't want to take any credit away from the Clippers because they are pretty competitive even without Paul George, who actually may be back this season. And so that's a team to really keep an eye on.
Yeah. That's a team that doesn't give up, though, because they were down 25 last week against the 76ers and came back and won. Yeah. I think they've had the most comeback wins this year because they've been down 20 by I think 4 or 5 times. And I think 4 of them, they actually came back and won 4 out of 5 of those games. So yeah, they're pretty competitive. It's not easy to close them out.
8th in the West right now without Paul George. And they've stayed within, I know that's play-in territory, but they've maintained being in that normal top 8, you know, which if you're top 8, you know, any other season in NBA history, you're considered a playoff team. And they've been able to maintain that, you know, without having 2 superstar level players. Like you really have to think about that. But like I said, I don't want to take any credit away from them because they do have great role players. Amir Coffey's playing at a very high level over the last couple of games. You know, Reggie Jackson, when he has been on this shit, has been playing at a high level. Luke Kennard is a good piece, but it's inexcusable. You know what I mean? And like I said, that game, it could indicate one of 2 things. It could do the thing Carl mentioned where it's like, it could indicate that we're just going to be on the downward fall the rest of the season, or it could be a wake-up call. You know what I mean? We could look at it like, oh shit, there's no reason we should be this inconsistent. You know, it's time for us to get something going. Because before then, it was like, you mentioned it before then, it was like, we'll win 2, then lose 2 and all of that. So it could end up being a wake-up call. You never know.
If you all needed that to get a wake-up call, that's kind of sad, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Terrible. You needed to lose by 35 to indicate that you're inconsistent. Yeah. That means you don't even deserve to be in the playoff, honestly.
Yeah, I like I said, I saw it coming, man. And I mean, there was, you know, and it's not over with. There's still possible that they can end up getting to the playoffs. But everything what'd you say?
It almost is over with.
No, it's like how many games left? Like 35?
Yeah, probably 35, something like that.
It's almost 40.
It is going to be a tough stretch because, like I said, look who's below them right now in the Eastern Conference, and look who they're competing with. You know what I mean? At New York, I think is going to maybe going to be primed for a big run. You know, Atlanta could be primed for. You ain't feeling it, Carl?
That's funny. He said New York.
It's going to be very tough for them, you know, to try to maintain that spot. You know, considering that I think Atlanta's going to end up roaring up, and maybe the Knicks or whatever. Like every issue I have with the Wizards, because like I said, even if they end up making something happen and are able to get to the playoffs, this isn't a team that's going to get out of the first round, you know? Yeah. So your question is, we came into the season and we knew this is a tryout season for the Wizards. This is a season to see what can this franchise do to make Bradley Beal happy? And the moves they made, right, and the moves they made, I'm like, okay, these are moves and they can make a solid team. But right now you're in territory to where you're trying to bring back a dude who you're not going to get another Bradley Beal maybe in 20 years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Unless you pick up a guy in free agency or something like that. But this is a guy who averaged 30 a game back-to-back seasons, you know?
Yeah, but I want to ask you, how do you feel about Kyle Kuzma? Are you, like, I guess, proud of the way? I know that kind of seems weird talking about being proud of a grown man.
Grown man.
But, have you been proud? Have you been proud of the play he's been putting out there on the court, or have you been disappointed?
There was a stretch where he was amazing. You know what I mean? That happened like a week or something ago, you know, where he was playing at a high level and he kind of came back down to earth. But I mean, this is a career year for him in a couple categories. Like I've never seen him rebound like this. He's rebounding at a high level. I think defensively, he's always been a solid defender, you know, but I think defensively he's kind of stepped it up just a little bit this season. But as I said, that's all great, but it's not enough it's like I said, it's a season to where I think you're trying to impress your superstar and bring him back. You know what I mean? And right now, like Brad Beal has been same situation with the Blazers. You know, I know Dame's not in like free agency territory by next summer, but we know they were in a position to be like, hey, you know, if you guys don't hurry up and make something happen around this guy, he's going to want to be out. And you look at him this season, and even when he was healthy, there just wasn't anything good going on. You know what I'm saying? So when we see teams in this type of situation, I feel like rarely do we really see teams rise up to the occasion and figure out ways to properly build around their stars. We saw it once with Giannis. You remember when he was playing around the extension?
And that's literally probably the only one besides Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Because remember, it was some rumors we heard before Devin Booker signed that contract. He might have wanted to leave because they weren't making the playoffs.
Yep.
So that was even worse than Giannis.
Look where he stuck it out though. They really did a good job of building around him.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Giannis too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And like I said, now your question is, did Washington do enough, and are they doing enough to make Bradley Beal happy to make him want to come back? He said it before, you know, hey, I mean, it's been indicated that he's not going to sign this new contract extension. You know, now it's not official, but it's been indicated. And then he's saying stuff on the other end where he's like, well, I'm committed to being a Wizard and all of that. We know when they say that, they ain't serious with it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I would, oh, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you. I would say I can see they're trying though. Like they're putting like decent talent on the floor at least, I guess.
But like I said, I feel like what they brought in were a bunch of guys. They're a bunch of misfits from a bunch of other teams. We go down the line, Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl. Yeah, Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell were the two misfits from Los Angeles. Montrezl Harrell just didn't fit in, and Kyle Kuzma just lost his shit in LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. I still wish we kept KCP.
Me too.
I still wish we kept him, but it is what it is.
Then you go Dinwiddie. You know, Dinwiddie is the odd man out in Brooklyn. Like, you know, when even when, you know, they're the Kyrie and KD end up becoming healthy, you know, we kind of thought it was kind of a weird dynamic to see like what his role was going to be. We knew he was going to end up taking a step back from what he did the previous year, you know, and then he just he does get hurt, you know, and gets pushed to the back burner, and then they end up trading him. Then there's Aaron Holiday from the Pacers. So I think it's decent talent, but it's like I said, it's not enough talent. It's not a good enough situation if you're trying to bring a guy like Bradley Beal back. You know what I'm saying? That's the entire thing. So the question here is this. This is a question I've read about it. Franchises can do one of two things. They can say, let's stick it out and let's try to see what we can get out of this season. Or let's just try to hurry up and boost this rebuild. And a lot of times when they say they want to go ahead and boost the rebuild or whatever is when they know they're in a really tough situation with their star players. Like we look at the Blazers. We know the Blazers in about a year or two are going to be in rebuild mode, you know? Give me another.
Maybe earlier than that.
Exactly. Give me another team that we think may end up getting there at some point sooner. They don't make some shit happen. I don't know. Let me think.
As far as rebuild,
like who may be heading towards that direction.
I would say it's because the Spurs are in a tough spot. They're like in the process of rebuilding, and they're not doing. They're doing pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, but they're not in that point where they're trying to like where they have superstar players and they need to give something up. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like having a superstar guy. Yeah, you know what I mean, and then having to make that decision.
Yeah, nobody's really that close except the Spurs, and they really don't even have a superstar.
Right?
They have good young players, but
they're smack dab in the middle of a rebuild. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Washington, like I said, Washington right now has the choice. Do we stick it out the rest of the season with Beal and then hope and pray that he signs this extension? Or do we trade him at the deadline and try to get some value back for him?
I think if he really can't give you a straight answer or whatever in the meetings you all have, I think you need to trade him and just try to get something for him instead of him leaving and then you get nothing, you ass out. You don't got nobody.
Yeah. And there's, like I said, and it's all a gamble because he could end there. He's sending so many mixed signals, so like Damian Lillard did. He could end up like I said, the best this team I think is going to end up doing is losing in the first round, maybe in like 5 games or 4. You know what I'm saying? I think, but I do think a playoff appearance for this level of this roster is pretty decent, right? But you know, or what could also end up happening, there's also this possibility. You know, we lose in the first round or whatever this season, and then we start taking steps to try to do better and build around them. We have assets to move still, you know, so maybe we juice up the play of some of these guys, go move them over and go try to bring in another star player. There's always that, but even that's a gamble, you know. So I do think the safest road, and it may be a little bit too premature, but the safest road is giving him up and then trying to get some draft capital or whatever back and get a bunch of other role players and try to kind of start this rebuild thing and make, Kuzma, and some of the other guys like Rui Hachimura or whatever, make some of the other guys, kind of a centerpiece of a new Wizards rebuild. I think that's the step you want to take, because you definitely don't want to end up, you lose Brad Beal for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Then, I mean, you can always sign and trade him, but, it's a bunch of stuff, that can end up happening. So, like I said, to me, it's a gamble to wait into the offseason because you know what you're going to get out of this year. Yeah. I do think it's a better idea to try to move him at the deadline. It's a little extreme considering the type of player he is, but I do think it's probably a better idea to try to move him, try to get something back.
It's always better to move that superstar at the trade deadline if you're not sure he's going to resign. You have to be sure he's going to resign. Yeah. If you ask him and he beats around the bush and he kind of dodges the question, I'm not taking that for a yes.
Granted,
that's too much capital for you to be losing out on just to be going off his word for the whole rest of the season. Yeah, because you can get a lot back from either players or draft, young players, or some draft picks. It's a lot you can get back from him or for him.
That's facts. And like I said, a couple of things, all of them really do beat around the bush. I've never heard, remember how much Giannis was beating around Giannis was beat around the bush, man. He killed that shit. You know what I mean?
I didn't think he was re-signing. A lot of people thought he was going to Golden State. I remember that was a huge thing.
That was the thing. Golden State, Dallas, a bunch of places, So granted, they all do kind of beat around the bush. And like I said, there is a world where they don't move him at the deadline and they end up making a sign and trade happen and he maybe goes to a team that he prefers or something like that. That could end up happening too, But like I said, there are just a bunch of different realities. All it is we have, the Wizards have to realize they're going to end up being back at this point to rebuild. You know what I mean? That's what the end game is. I don't really know. They brought in solid pieces, and I guess you kind of had to ship away Russ if he didn't make sense, or whatever. With what they were trying to do.
I would have kept him.
Yeah.
Wish you all would have kept him.
And would I have minded if we kept Russell Westbrook? I don't really think so because what we had last season wasn't bad. I mean, we ended up making something happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it could, like I said, it could have been a second, Beal tries the ball that. You said what?
Wasn't nothing good.
I mean, we got to the play. You can't lie. Last season was a success.
I know. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy thinking about how that team snuck in the playoffs and you got Russ and Brad Beal.
It's that play-in stuff. That gives a lot of people chances.
That's one of the best comebacks. That's one of the best season comebacks I've seen. They literally.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. Them and the Hawks is pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
Who has the best comeback? I say the Hawks. Hawks probably better. I think. Just based on how far they went.
Okay, yeah. Considering that's true. Then that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's the point that they're at. I was confused by the offseason moves. A lot of people, the offseason moves to be benefited the guys they brought in more than it benefited the franchise and benefited Bradley Beal because we looked at it as these guys getting more of an opportunity. We thought this was going to be the opportunity. The model guy in that trade was Kuz. We all were thinking, this is now Kuz is going to get back to what we saw from him those first years in LA or whatever. Yeah. Trez is going to have an elevator role. Dinwiddie's going to be back to this 20 point per game guy. Maybe it's not enough to keep Beal happy, and maybe it's not enough to try to secure a deep playoff spot, but that trade was less about how good it was going to make the Wizards as a team. It was more about, from a lot of people's standards, it was more about, what it did for those guys that they brought into the franchise, and how much of a better opportunity it was. So like I said, I was never, as a Wizards fan, I was never like, this is it. We're going to do this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Out of all three of us, you were the most one that was not really.
Yeah.
I would say happy with their moves. You were okay with them, but you were like, it's not going to do shit for us.
Yeah.
I think you were the one out of all three of us to say really feel that way.
Yeah, I'm a direction guy. I like to know the direction teams are taking, and it's always weird seeing them in that weird space. Like the Blazers are in a really weird space. We're in a really weird space. There are a lot of teams, before the season, Indiana was in a really, really weird place. Then we know, they're going to try to move some pieces and just confirm this rebuild. So there are a lot of teams that are in this really strange spot. For a minute, we thought the Clippers were kind of in a strange spot. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of teams that were kind of in that strange, weird, position. Yeah. So that was us, as I said, nobody's looked at that trade as, I don't think enough people paid attention to how, to how much that's going to keep Bradley Beal happy. Most of the thing about that trade was how we thought that it was going to make those guys they brought in better and all of that, and it was never about how good the Wizards were going to be. It was never about how, they were going to try to keep, Beal happy to come back another year. So it is what it is. There are a lot of things they can do with them. There is a world where they don't just lose them in the offseason and they can't sign and trade them. But like I said, you really just never know. So I'm personally down with a deadline trade. And also it can save cap space as well, if you trade them at the deadline, so.
Yeah. I think they were hoping this season to have like a Cavaliers type season, just kind of just shock everybody.
Yeah.
And they were at first.
Yeah.
Credit to them. Like it started off, they were like that, and then Cleveland and them kind of flip flop. And now Cleveland's having a season they probably wish they had, the Wizards. So
And like I said, even if this team flips the script, which they have the potential to do, they can start getting it right defensively, they can start getting it right offensively, or whatever the case may be. We know what the ceiling is, and the ceiling is not enough to keep Bradley Beal here, So we're going to end up preparing. What's going to end up happening is we're going to end up preparing for one of the top scorers in the NBA, going to another team, And if it's at the deadline, that's going to change the entire scope of the league. If a borderline contending team right now gets a Bradley Beal, that's a whole nother ball game, and that's another team we can throw into the contending conversation. Let
me ask you, let me ask this question right. Who would he fit best with? If that were to happen?
I'm not sure, dude. I'm not really sure, right? I should have really thought about, who should get him, because you have to think about it. If the Wizards decide to move at the deadline, which is probably not going to happen. I'm just kind of talking.
No, it's not.
But like he'll have to go somewhere that has a good amount of draft capital and young talent to get back. I'm not really sure. He's a guy you can kind of plug anywhere and ask him to do a bunch of stuff, so I'm not sure.
I was going to say, do you think the 76ers have enough?
No, I think 76 will probably go after Horton before they go after.
True.
Yeah, they would. I'm just saying, like, who, if they can't make that happen. I mean, we could talk about Hart next. That's actually
that Harden thing. They are waiting out for that. That's why Morey's holding on. Yeah,
I think that's more possible than people think.
Yeah. I mean, and then
I can see Brad Beal in like a San Antonio or a Dallas or
Dallas. I can see Dallas. San Antonio. San Antonio, he probably won't be happy with that because that limits to how many points you can score. Honestly,
it'll give him more production. He like I said, if you move in the deadline, he's still gonna end up leaving. I think he's still gonna end up being unrestricted. So,
I like a Hawks fit too. I like that.
I like that too. I like that too. Man. I like that too. I mean,
Trey might. I don't know. He might have to level down them shots. Probably
he will. Yeah,
that's the only thing.
That make them dangerous as hell. I don't know how much better because they're going to have to give up a lot, but they do have the young assets, that I think
I'm talking about free agency.
Oh, you're talking about free agency?
Either. I mean, trading for the Hawks, not really trading for Hawks, but free agency. If I was Brad Beal, I'd probably look at Atlanta.
He'd take a little pay cut then because he won't get no $40 million from them. Probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That that's why this could end up becoming like a sign and trade or whatever, because no one's going to pay him that. No one's going to pay him the money the home team is paying. But even if it's a trade at the deadline to Atlanta. We just talking now. It's not really going to happen. But even if it's a trade to Atlanta, Atlanta's got the assets that Washington could possibly want to try to kick off a rebuild. You can always package Brad with a lot of other guys, and just because even if he gets moved the deadline, it doesn't mean he's going to stay with that team. You know what I mean? He's still going to leave. So
it definitely doesn't mean, and I kind of view it as a this is what the MLB does. Like right before playoffs start, they'll trade somebody, but then normally most of the time that person doesn't end up staying with them after the postseason or whatever. So it's kind of like how the MLB works. They do the same thing. So it's
on the Kawhi Leonard side of things, you know what I mean? He gets traded to Toronto, and then that's not where he wants, and then free agency comes up and he's out. You know what I mean? That's the Brad Beal situation. You know what I mean? Even if he does go to a team that he makes good, he's still gonna want out.
You know, I was about to say something real stupid. I was about to say he always could come home, but St. Louis don't have no team.
Right, bro. If we do an expansion and then like get an NBA team, which is not gonna happen, but if we do, we got it. Beal's got to be there.
I mean, that won't be happening for a long.
We got a YMCA team. He can always come YMCA.
We got the St. Louis. We got SLU. That's the basketball team. That we've got.
It's college.
I'm trying to give us something. We got the St.
I think he got 3 years of eligibility left. I think.
Who's that?
Oh, never mind.
You said, Brad. You talking Brad Beal?
Yeah.
He showed it come out as a freshman, didn't he?
Yep. He come to Zoo.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we ain't got nothing here in St.
Lord
Louis.
knows we need somebody that can put the ball through the hoop.
Man.
Y'all almost had some.
Almost don't count Tuesday. If you lose.
Monday. Oh my God, Carl, just give them a little bit of credit.
No, if they lost, they lost. They
I almost went. I should have went to that game, bro. Because like I said,
I didn't know that
playing. Yeah. With Mizzou, Auburn, I should have. Like, it's not every day you're gonna end up seeing a number one overall team play. Like I miss seeing Jabari Smith play, and then Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards came here our freshman year, and I miss seeing. I didn't see him. I don't think I was hip on Anthony Edwards at that time though. Y'all were.
I wasn't. I wasn't either until Blake told me about it, and I watched his highlights.
I give Blake his little credit. He was right about Anthony Edwards, man. I give him his little credit.
I told y'all that like in November or December.
Yeah. He cold. I'm gonna have to. If I ain't never have a Timberwolves jersey initially, I probably would have got another Timberwolves jersey, but I'm not doing that. So
he's coming into his own. He's coming into. You might have to go get Anthony Edwards. I'm thinking about getting it because that Anthony Edwards like.
But the thing is, I already had one, bro, and it's just like I don't know.
You don't trust him?
No, I don't trust him. I had an Andrew Wiggins one. Well, I still have it.
Yeah. Shout out to Andrew Wiggins. We're gonna figure out in a couple weeks if he's gonna be an all-star. Shout out to him. Another thing,
a couple minutes.
They
just said they about to.
They just doing the starters though.
Yeah. We'll probably do this next topic and then talk about that because most likely all of them are gonna be out. I want to talk about
the all-star break is what in a week or 2 weeks.
It'll be a minute. It'll be a little bit, a couple weeks from now. I think like February 15th, something like that.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be a minute. Yeah.
What is that? Right after the Super Bowl?
Yes, it is. Is All-Star Weekend right after Super Bowl weekend? No, it's a couple weeks after, maybe.
Is it?
Maybe.
It's 1 week after because the Super Bowl, the NFC and AFC championship this week, then they skip a week and then it's the following week.
The Super Bowl is
like February
20th. February 20th. So that's
really.
No, it
can't be because
it's not the 20th, bro.
Not the Super Bowl. I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a month. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a minute.
It's a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like a week in between the Super Bowl and the football.
Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about were the rookies. We haven't really did a pod talking about how impressive these rookies have been. There are the usual suspects, the guys that we've always talked about, like the Evan Mobleys and the Scotty Barnes and all of that. But there have been a couple of other names that are kind of popping up that are playing really at a really high level. For one, I got to shout out Cade Cunningham. We all remember over his first couple of games. Oh, he's a bust. There's always that crowd.
He's a bust. He can't play. He can't shoot.
Yeah.
His defense is overrated.
Yes.
Look at him now.
He's leading all rookies in scoring. Then there's 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal a game. Carl, you did a post about it a couple of days ago, but you talked about his defense. That's something that wasn't really talked about a lot before the draft. He's doing a great job of guarding. Yeah. And granted, he's a point guard with size. Rarely do you see point guards with good size who aren't able to defend at somewhat of a high level. And you mentioned it. This dude definitely has all defense level potential. You know what I mean? And we're seeing that he's almost averaging a block and a steal a game. He's a little short of a block, but I know he's averaging a steal a game. It's either one or the other. So it's great to see him coming into his own, man, after all the BS slander that we heard about him early on in the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In my post, I said he can be one of the few players in the league that can be all NBA on the offensive end and the defensive end. There's not a lot of players that's first team in both.
He's got the body and the skill set for it.
Yeah, that's a fact.
6'8". Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. I mean, everything he does, and we're also seeing him. You don't really see rookies. I mean, the last time I remember seeing a rookie who was super, super clutch to the point where it was like he was nearly as clutch as some of the older vets in the league was Luka. Cade is showing like he's not at the same clutch level that Luka was in his rookie year because Luka had a couple of like big time game winning or game sealing shots in his rookie year, but Cade's got moments where he's like, "Give me the ball and I'm gonna take over." You know what I mean? He's got those moments. Yeah. He's got those moments, and I know Detroit isn't winning. I think they're second worst in the East right now, but still, we're seeing so many indicators that this dude is without a doubt. If there was any doubt about it early, we're seeing so many indicators that this dude is going to be a straight up franchise player. There's a clutch factor. Yeah. People always raved about his leadership and his maturity, and there's other stuff like the passing and the defense and the rebounding and all of that. He's been amazing so far.
Rarely do you see a rookie be that, I know this is going to sound weird, be that strong. To me, he's like one of the strongest rookies probably in the league now.
Underrated strength.
Yeah. He has that underrated strength because you look at him, he's kind of skinny. He's 6'8", but he's kind of on the skinnier side.
Yeah, he's still a big dude.
Yeah. But when he plays defense, people really can't get by him.
Yeah. Very. He He can be physical, which is one thing I think separated him and Jalen Green. When we debated about them, it was always, Cade was always a better overall all around player, but Cade's physicality was a little bit better. I like you mentioned, he can put his head down and get to the rim. Like he has a lot of finishes around the basket where he looks kind of trapped under there, and he'll still find a way to get a layup. You know what I mean? Like Blake mentioned, this is not a small dude. He looks a little skinny when we see him, but he's still 6'8", or whatever his size is. So he's amazing, man. He's playing at an unbelievable level. And as I said, Detroit isn't winning, but they're as I said, we know the direction with their rebuild. There's another guy here on the roster, and I read an article about it. There's Killian Hayes. I want to know where you guys are at right now with Killian Hayes as a player. I remember seeing. I'm seeing I'm seeing more and more bust stuff come out. Is it panic time yet for Killian Hayes, or are we still giving him that threshold?
No, I think he cool.
He's what, 19, 20?
He's got to be 20. If not 19, he's got to be 20. Yeah.
He's still extremely young, dude. Mm-hmm. And he was being drafted last year. Pandemic, everything going on, didn't really get that legit rookie year. I think if you give him like what, one more, another year. 2 more years, probably. Yeah. Give him at least till he's like 22 or something like that. He'll be fine because he's still hella young, to be honest.
I agree, and then there's also too, he's adjusting to a new role. He came in last season as Detroit's point guard, and then now it's like he's not really the point guard in those lineups where he's on the floor with Cade. And he's shown great flashes, right? People have liked his ability to cut off the ball and get finishes around the basket. His defense is what it is, but he's a rookie adjusting to a brand new role. We talked about that a couple months ago. It's tough for a younger guy, not a rookie, but he's a second-year guy adjusting to a newer role. It's tough.
He might as well be a rookie, to be honest.
Right, exactly. Because like you mentioned, there are a lot of experiences that most rookies had that he didn't have. He didn't have a summer league. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like it's tough for younger guys to adjust. Lonzo, we mentioned him. I'm not saying him and Lonzo are the same player. There are some similarities. They're both point guards who kind of struggled offensively, but showed a lot of upside on the defensive end. But Lonzo's first year, he's prepping to become this point guard and the starting point guard for this team and the playmaker. And then it wasn't great, and now here comes LeBron, and now he's at a change role and everything like that. Not the exact same thing, but here comes Killian Hayes, expects to be the point guard for Detroit, and now he's going to bring in a Cade Cunningham. Now he's playing a lot off the ball. And granted, he is playing some point guard in some lineups, but still, the ball's not in his hands as much.
I would say if you're not like as much of a stretch shooter type of player, and they draft another player or bring another player in free agency that has the ball in their hands, you're probably going to struggle.
Yeah.
That's probably his issue. If you're not a stretch shooter or a good, off the ball shooter, when another new player comes in via draft or via free agency, you're probably going to struggle. I think that's just what he's going through.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I think, like I said, when you look at his defense, and there are some times where he looks really poised out there, I have hope for him. I'm only saying this because I remember like people are really saying he's a bust and saying it's time to move on from Killian Hayes right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's way too premature.
You gotta give dudes probably a year or two. I'll probably give him 2 more years.
Yeah.
Just to see where he's at, because we've seen dudes we've given 3 to 4 years on that 5th year. They're a late bloomer, but they come around
always late.
Eventually.
They're always late bloomers. Like Lonzo's having his best season in year 5 right now. This is year 5.
He has been in a year.
Lonzo's been in the league for 5 years.
I always go back to this because a lot of people don't know this. Chauncey Billups wasn't the Chauncey Billups straight off the bat.
Facts.
It took him, because he was drafted by the Celtics, it took him like 5 to 6 years to become the big shot. That's his nickname, Big Shot Chauncey. So,
Kobe? It took Kobe about a year. He had a bad rookie year. Then
he had a bad rookie but a lot of people saw he was going to be what he was going to be. I know Byron Scott did. I remember that video, but yeah.
And I'm not saying kill because somebody out there you really compare.
Yeah, no, we're not saying Kobe. We're not saying that.
We're not saying that, but you have to give.
We're just saying give them time.
Yeah, give young guys time. I keep calling them rookie. Give these young guys time to develop, and they'll get it right. But no, I still think this backcourt has a lot of upside, especially defensively. Rarely do you see a backcourt where both guys are great defenders. I'm trying to think. I mean, name a backcourt where both guards are like locked down. Like I think Cade and Killian both have lockdown potential at some point in their career. And if they can both get it at the same time on the same team, that'd be amazing. I'm trying to name some.
Let me think. It's not one, because it's one that might be dominant defense, but the other one's not really.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I can't really think of it.
Yeah.
Because at a point in time, you could say Klay Thompson, but Steph Curry ain't no lockdown defender.
Yeah. So. He's good enough. No, I can't even say. He's okay.
He's okay.
Yeah,
he's been
okay.
doing all right. He's been doing all right.
They still hunt him on.
Yeah. So
it's nobody.
There's not many, you know. So I think they have potential to end up making that happen if the Pistons play their cards right and stick with, Killian Hayes and his development. But as I said, Cade's been great. Do you think I compared him to Luka today? Do you think that's a fair comparison? Because I see a lot of things they do playing wise. You're taller point guard. You can be a 2 if we ask you to. He makes at a high level. Can see over guys. Can shoot it.
I see similarities. It's just with Cade, he seems like he's more dedicated to being in shape.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that I would kind of drift away. He seems to take his body more serious than Luka does.
Yeah.
Not knocking Luka, but I'm just saying, like, you can't.
And we'll see what happens with Cade's body physically, or what happens with him over the next couple of years. Because it is Luka's body.
Cade mess around, because you only low key with some dudes, you only go get stronger.
Yeah.
As you start to mature in the NBA. Yeah. So we've seen that we've seen that when dudes coming to the league, they're a little skinny, but they still have a quote unquote NBA body, but it still gets stronger.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So Ty, real quick, remember when you was talking about Wiggins being an all-star?
Oh Lord. Well, wait a minute. We'll talk about after we finish the rookie talk. He's a starter. We'll get to that. We'll talk about that later. We got to finish this topic up. That's a bombshell. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We'll talk about.
You want me to read the whole West? You want me to read the whole?
Not yet, because we got to not yet. But there, like I said, Cade's playing at a very, very high level. Y'all maybe want to go look at these all-star picks, bro.
It just came up on my phone though. But we can talk about two more seconds. We didn't talk about Cade for a little bit. Yeah. But honestly, he's for a rookie to be this strong on the defensive end is actually impressive because, like you said, coming out of the draft, nobody really talked about his defense. The bad thing, it wasn't really bad to me. The thing they criticized him for, he doesn't look like he have a motor. He doesn't really like he tries that hard. Or so-and-so, whatever. I was like, I mean, it just might be that he just might be that good where he doesn't look like he's trying and he's still getting buckets.
And how do you judge if you don't know this dude and you don't watch him work out? How do you judge?
I don't know how you can judge somebody. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Because that's that shit where they just make but that's the thing where they just make up stuff. You know what I mean? And that just sticks with the guy. You know?
Because some dudes like in sports, just sports period, don't look like they're trying and they're still out there giving dudes buckets.
Yeah. That's a fact.
I think that's just this type of player he is. He doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat, and he out here giving you like he gave the other night 34. He ain't breaking a sweat.
34.
Like I said, rarely do you see guys, but the two-way. And we start talking about some of these other rookies. The two-way talent in this class is ridiculous. There's Cade, who we didn't really expect it from, but then there's Scotty Barnes. We did see him becoming like one of the elite two-way players in this class, and he's doing that at a high level. Evan Mobley, exact same. There's another dude who's been really good, who has the Bulls starting point guard spot as of now with Lonzo being out, but there's Ayo Dosunmu. If I said his name correct.
Dosunmu, something like that.
Illinois.
He had a nice game.
Illinois boy.
Yeah.
He had a nice game the other night.
He's been really impressive. One of those rookies that comes in. Yeah, Ayo, that's what it is. Yeah, my bad. But one of those rookies that comes in. He's kind of in a strange position. We always knew from him being in high school, always a playmaker type of guy. And then comes in, he's kind of used as like an off-ball, guard. They like to have him out there shooting, or they like to have him cutting, and all of that. He takes a lot of defensive assignments. Now with Lonzo being out, some things are a blessing in disguise. I'm not happy that Lonzo's out. Nobody is. But for him, I remember tweeting it. I said, with Lonzo being out, this is going to be his this is going to be his opportunity to show off and also just hone his skills as a playmaker on this level. He's doing it. He's a great bounce back player too. Like we talk about those intangibles, having a great work ethic and having the right mentality. He's a dude who'll have a bad game, and then 24 hours later, if it's a back-to-back, he's playing at a high level right back at it. You know what I'm saying? He's that type of guy,
He's what I would call a Swiss Army knife for a team. Like he can do multiple things. He showed me he can shoot the ball good enough where you got to respect his three-point shot. Mm-hmm. He can defend. He can initiate the offense. When you got a player like that, you got something to fall back on if somebody gets hurt, like Lonzo. And
what better a time to hone that than your rookie season on a contending team? He is literally going to be dangerous. Just because I know I said what I said about Chicago, but this is a team that people consider as a title contending team. So you got playoff experience being this multi-positional guard type of, or this combo guard type of dude who will be asked to do a million things when he's in the playoff rotation. Imagine him years and years down the road now that he has that experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And now he's kind of fortunate that he didn't come to the league like 3 or 4 years ago when Golden State was like dominating, because now you're in the type of league where everything's kind of even. It might not be as even as it's to me. It's more even than it has been in probably what would you all say 5 to 6 years? Probably across the board.
I'd say that because I do think last season was pretty even. Every year post KD was pretty even.
Yeah, last year was even because it's starting to get back to like how it was when like right before LeBron went to, I guess, Miami or whatever, when he was with, it's starting to get back to that point kind of where we really don't know who's going to win the championship. We have an idea, but we don't know for sure. With Golden State, I think we knew who was going to win.
We knew the two that was going to get to the finals. Now, like you said, now there's just, he's going to have an opportunity to play in a deep playoff run. He's going to get clocked. I said he's going to end up getting clocked.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he definitely is.
Rarely do you see rookies who get clocked in the playoffs not end up becoming something big during the rest of their career. Like, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, like these guys, their rookie seasons, they were Eastern Conference Finals guys, and now you look at them and they're the best scoring duo in the NBA. I think so, so Ayo's going to be amazing. And he's been one of the, Ayo, I need to get that right. He's going to be, man. Ayo, West Side guy.
Yeah. My bad.
No, you good. Oh, Ayo. But no, he's been amazing. And then there's another guard that we haven't really talked about a ton in Orlando, but there's another guy who can be like a Swiss Army knife player, shorter, but Jalen Suggs, since he's come back from his injury, he's been a high energy dude, great when it comes to putting the ball on the floor. I think I still want to see a little bit more from him on the playmaking front. Granted, he is playing with Cole Anthony, and that's not really what he's asked to do, and that's not really his role. I think defensively he's got a lot of upside.
Fultz is coming back too. So,
you said what?
Fultz is coming back too, so I don't know how they're going to work that out.
Question though, if Orlando had Fultz and John Isaac, would they be a playoff team? Or would they be fighting for a playoff spot? Don't forget they were at a point in time. Remember last year they got off to that really good start and then Fultz gets hurt. So
yeah. I really don't know.
That's a weird team.
Yeah, but like I said, do you think they'd be a playoff team if they had
they'd be content. They'd probably be around that 11 and 10 spot, I think.
Yeah. But you mentioned Fultz. That's one of the players, bro. I wish he really never went I wish he would have never went through that unfortunate situation, that shoulder injury, to mess with his jump shot. Because coming out of Washington, you can clearly see in his highlights he was going to be something special.
I was watching Bill Simmons' podcast. I was listening to his podcast, and I love Bill Simmons. He's like my favorite sports podcaster. But he said like he did a really good pod, like I think yesterday or today, and he referenced Markelle Fultz as if like picking him over the guys that he was picked over was a bad thing. You know what I mean? He didn't explicitly say it, but he kind of indicated it. I was like, I can't say that because you remember how.
You can tell when people saying stuff, they're trying to indicate something. Yeah. But then when you bring it back to him, say, I never said it. I was like, no, but you indicated it. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, man. But bring it all back, man. Suggs has been great. As you mentioned, Orlando. If they play their cards right and then are able to get guys back and healthy. I mean, like you said, I mean, if John Isaac was here, this would be a completely different team. John Isaac and Fultz. I think with Fultz there, the guard situation would be really strange because we always were kind of critical of how many guards they have, but still, if they were at full strength, we saw them be a playoff team when they had somewhat of a healthy roster. We saw them get off to that great start last year when they had somewhat of a healthy roster, even when John Isaac wasn't there last season.
I think we know why, or at least I know why they're struggling. We've seen what they do in practice. So
yeah.
They don't take practice serious. So I think that's
you think so? You think off that clip? I don't know about that.
I don't know, bro. I've never seen
that clip was hilarious though.
I've never seen something like that happen in the practice. I don't know. I could be wrong though, but in all seriousness though, I think if Mo Bamba was like had that career night like he did last week versus the 76ers, they'd be in better shape.
Yeah, if he was
if he was that, they'd be in a better position.
I think Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter are two guys kind of looking at like, okay, when are you guys going to make that leap? You know what I mean? Yeah. Wendell Carter, I've been waiting for Wendell Carter to just make that 20, 25, and 10 leap for a minute. You know what I mean? It just hasn't happened.
Mo Bamba.
I'll give both of them a year, maybe Wendell, maybe a year or two, but I give Mo Bamba like one more, honestly.
Yeah. He's
go ahead.
He's still a really good player. Like even if the numbers don't pop off the charts, he can be a really good role. He may not be a franchise guy, but he can be a really good, valuable role player to any team.
He can, but him coming out, didn't he go to Texas?
Yeah,
Tennessee. Okay, he went to Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, coming out of Texas, you thought the talent he had, we thought he was kind of going to be like at least I did like a KD hybrid. I don't know. I thought he was going to be like that. Just because he can shoot. Just because
I was joking about that tweet, cuz.
No, he was joking about the tweet.
Let me get that tweet framed. You talking about Mo Bamba is the next coming to KD stamp.
I deleted that shit.
I thought he was going to be coming out of college, but that's definitely not true. So.
Yeah. I saw a more athletic Porzingis is what I saw because he played the 5 and he never really handled the ball that much at all. But like I said, I think he can be a really good role player. You know, I mean, like we'll see what happens, but all in all, they have a hodgepodge of young talent. You know, Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner or Franz Wagner both had extremely impressive rookie seasons. You know what I mean? Or are having both extremely impressive rookie seasons. Like this team is going to turn out two all NBA rookie teams or the rookie team guys. With Suggs and with Wagner. So shout out to them. They've been playing at a very high level. Shout out to the rookies. You know, we mentioned Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, all those other guys. I really do think, though, would it be crazy to say Cade is taking that top spot on the rookie ladder, on the rookie of the year ladder?
He has definitely.
Oh, no, I think he's going.
He had that spot like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I don't know about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'd probably say
I say 2 weeks ago.
Last week.
I say by last week. But it's tough. It's tough because you even think about it. The only argument for Mobley at this, because let's go compare their numbers. Right now with Cade, Cade is putting up, I mentioned the 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal, compared to Evan Mobley's 15 points, 8 boards, and 3 assists and a block. And Scotty Barnes, 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. So the numbers, no one's blowing anybody out the water with the numbers. Only argument for having one of those guys over Cade is the playoff thing. Mobley, the Cavs are going to end up making the playoffs without a doubt. The Raptors could, and the Pistons are like smack dab at the bottom of the league, one of the worst teams in the NBA. So that's the only argument, But if we're going strictly by an individual standpoint, I would say he has been the most impressive. He looks very comfortable. All these guys look really comfortable and poised, though. You know what I mean?
Question: is this crazy? Do you see comparisons between Cade and the same way Kawhi used to play when he came into the league?
No,
like the first couple of years. You don't see the comparisons?
No, because Kawhi had no offensive game.
I'm just looking at it from a defensive end.
Nah, I don't think so.
I'm kind of really he's not that good defensively.
Nah,
I think he get there. Honestly,
because Kawhi had no offensive game when he first came in.
That's true,
and he was not a point guard. So no, I don't know about that. But I mean, we'll see. But I think that that rookie of the year race is pretty tight. I don't know if anybody at any point in the season was really running away with it. I wouldn't say. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there wasn't a point where Mobley just had it. There wasn't a point where Scotty Barnes just had it. Like it's been really balanced out. So now to see that most of that top 5 outside of a guy who's just totally fell out of that conversation in Jalen Green. But most of that top 5 in that draft class, or a good amount of those guys, are gunning for that rookie of the year award. We're talking about 3 dudes, who are gunning for it. I feel like a lot of years it's always that surprise dude who kind of comes out of nowhere and ends up in the top 3 of that conversation. This year that top 3 are 3, legit top 5, lottery pick dudes. So it's really, really good to see that.
Yeah. I thought my boy Chris Duarte was going to win it. He didn't drift it down, bro. He didn't.
And he's still in. I say he's still in there. He did hit a point where he drifted down, but since those guys in India have been out of the lineup for a minute, like Sabonis and all those guys, they put the ball in his hands a lot more. They've asked him to kind of be like a combo guard, and he's playing well. I don't think he'll get in that top 3 at this point, and I don't think he'll get back in that top 5 because he'd have to like beat out a Franz Wagner. Maybe he can get in there, maybe, because you have to name me 5. You have to name me 5 who are better than him right now. But he's not. That's true. I did kind of think at some point he'd be like top 3 or top 2, and it is too late for that now.
Because the first like 2 or 3 weeks of the season, he was clearly one.
Yeah.
And then everything,
so kind of went downhill from there. Let's make this another topic. Let's talk these all-star selections, live reaction, the all-star starter reactions, all-star starter selections. So I had the East here. Let's name them. We've got Trae Young. We've got Kevin Durant. We've got Giannis Antetokounmpo. We've got Joel Embiid, and we've got DeMar DeRozan. I think we're all good with that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Blake's not cool with it. What's up with it, Blake?
I'm cool with it.
Okay.
I'm looking at it myself too.
Okay.
Hold on, for the starters, for the I see Zach LaVine instead of DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, really? I'm surprised. Well,
yeah, that's Zach LaVine.
I wouldn't. No, I keep DeMar. No.
Wait, you said you're seeing Zach LaVine as a starter instead of DeMar DeRozan?
It's Zach LaVine. That's what I see for the Bulls is Zach LaVine being the starter over DeMar.
I see front court.
Oh, they messed up on the graphic. It shows Zach LaVine, but on the thing it says DeMar.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I swear that's what it says.
It's NBA, yeah, NBA Scoring.
What you looking at, Carl?
Yeah, it's on. If you go to Bleacher Report and see the graphic, it says. I mean, it says DeMar, but it also has a picture of Zach LaVine being the starter.
Yeah. So I don't have an issue with anything here. Durant's not going to end up playing. Who takes Durant's spot in the Eastern Conference at that starter spot? Because he's not going to play an All-Star game.
Either
Zach LaVine.
I guess Zach
or
LaVine,
Jimmy. Or Jimmy.
You know they got him on here. It's kind of.
I'm taking Zach LaVine over Jimmy for that starter spot. Jimmy's missed too many games. But I think you go. I mean, wouldn't you have to replace him with a front court guy though?
Theoretically, you could, but they don't do positions.
Yeah. So could we argue Zach LaVine plays the 4 in the All-Star game for the East? Yeah. No, I like the East list for sure. I like the Trae Young. I like the love we're getting for Trae Young for sure. He has been the best point guard in the Eastern Conference right now. I think we pretty much predicted this Eastern Conference line. I mean, maybe we both had LaVine being as a starter originally. Yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe I think Trae Young was a bench guy for most of us. And then we had LaVine and DeMar both being starters originally. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like Trae Young's numbers are what they are. And he is the best player, and he's trying to keep this ATL team afloat. I'm down with that. I'm down with Trae Young being a starter for sure.
Yeah, I think this is spot on the East starters, honestly.
East without a doubt, spot on. Now here's where it gets interesting. There's that Western Conference. So name the West if we got him pulled up right now.
The West is LeBron, Steph Curry, Joker, Ja Morant, and Andrew Wiggins.
So you can pull that Wiggins jersey out.
Right. Nah. Wiggins an all-star starter.
Over Booker.
That's disrespect. That's disrespect. Because at that point, what's the argument? Because
it shouldn't be one. Honestly, you can't even think anything.
Because, okay, if we're going to do the thing, Golden State has not been as good of a team as Phoenix. There was a point in time where they were, but now they're not. They fell
off a little bit.
Yeah, Phoenix is the best team in the NBA right now. So the argument for Wiggins being an all-star is that you're the second best player on one of the best teams in the NBA. What if you're the first best player on the best team in the NBA, but that's not starter worthy?
Why? I can't believe he's not starting.
I don't know what the Devin Booker disrespect is about, man. And it's not only that he's not an all-star starter, but he's not in the right now. If we look at the MVP ladder as we speak, he's not in the top 10. That may change by next week. Who knows?
Wow.
You know, but it's a consistent thing.
They really don't like Booker.
That's what I'm saying. Because you look at his last 2 all-star appearances too, he's been a replacement.
Yeah, for people that got hurt. So originally he wasn't even in them.
And I love Andrew Wiggins, and I do think Andrew Wiggins is an all-star. You know what I mean? I do love what he's done defensively, even, but it's hard to say a dude who's averaging under 20 is a starter over a guy who's averaging, and it could be that front court thing too. Because is he listed as a front court guy? Because I think they do pick 3 front court.
He's listed as a front court guy.
That could be
it. It depends. They're not telling me, but.
He's probably listed as a front court dude because he plays a 3.
But we've seen it's like in some points they don't even. Well, no, we've seen them pick front court like this.
Yeah. They pick the teams and then the players draft whatever they want to do. You know, from that point, you know what I mean. And they have to kind of fill it out. But like I said, I don't see the argument. I love what Wiggins has done this season. He's been great on both ends. He's been that way the last couple of years. Really, this isn't even his best season, and he's an all-star, which is kind of ironic. Because his best years were in Minnesota where he was like a 20-point-a-game guy. But over Devin Booker is kind of ridiculous to me, you know?
Yeah, I'm not even going to give him an excuse because you still got 2 point guards in Ja Morant and Steph.
Yeah, so. but it's just like backcourt and then front court. So I don't even think it's point guard, shooting guard. It's just give me 2 guards and give me
bro. That's disrespectful. They don't even make sense. I can't think of no excuse for him not to be in the starting lineup over Andrew Wiggins.
I agree. Like I said, I think it solely is that thing. You know, where's the front court thing? But even so, like the game is so unpositional right now. It's not even like it's like how the hell can you even go by the front court, backcourt thing? Just pick the 5 best, have them as a starter, and then just go with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Because honestly, they don't even play their position. So honestly,
literally nobody's playing it.
Just pick the top,
except for like a Embiid, but Joker. Literally nobody's playing it.
Just pick the top players, honestly.
Yeah,
or Chris Paul
at this point.
They got the unis out. Oh, let me look at the unis real quick.
Yeah, you like them. I don't like. I think
I saw a fake leak though. Let me see what the actual ones look like.
That probably was real.
NBA All-Star.
Wow, I can't believe they did that, bro.
Yeah, and I don't know. I kind of saw It could just be the front court thing. I think is what it is. I think that's the only thing it is. And I can't argue him. I can't argue Devin Booker over Steph or Ja. Like I can't really do that. So maybe that's the justification behind it. Then if that's what it is, then I get it. You know what I mean?
Where you see the unis at?
I got it. I just got a notification on Bleacher Report.
Yeah, but my thing is, if that's the case, is nobody else that's put up better numbers than Andrew Wiggins in that case?
The front, that's the argument. In the front court, is there a guy who's been putting up better numbers than Andrew Wiggins?
Because let me think, it might not be. I don't know. I can't
go by teams here. I forgot who I had voted as NBA. I forgot who I had voted as an All-Star out in the Eastern or out in the West. I for sure had. Let me see. So, Lakers haven't had. I mean, Anthony Davis hasn't been available enough for me to say. And he's just not a starter. He hasn't been more impactful than Andrew Wiggins this season. I can't really think of another guy. I mean,
I got you. I'm thinking of some people.
Yeah, nobody in Utah.
These uniforms.
You could argue JaVale McGee, but I mean not JaVale McGee. Rudy Gobert. You could argue him. You know,
would you argue? Never mind. Yeah, it's getting tough.
Yeah, there's not a lot to argue. So maybe, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe he is. Maybe Andrew Wiggins is an all-star starter and Booker isn't. If we're going by the backcourt, front court standards, because you can't argue. There's no way you can argue Devin Booker over Ja or Steph. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even going by that, though, I don't even care about that. I just draft. I mean, not draft. I keep saying draft. I don't know why. I'll just pick the players that play the best.
Yeah.
Because honestly, they don't even play their positions.
Yeah, that's true. But I can't get mad at the selections if that's the criteria they're going by. You know what I mean? Unless you want to argue. Like I said, that's the same reason Levine wasn't voted as a starter and probably won't be. Because if that's the case, they're just going to vote another front court guy in for Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Out in the Eastern Conference. So it is what it is. Decent stuff. Now that I really think about it, decent stuff. Yeah, I mean, we'll kind of see what happens. But I'm pretty excited about the game they're going to end up playing defense this year, which they did. Last year was I would say last year was entertaining just because of the highlight plays. But I want to see a game where they're actually going out there and putting in an effort and playing defense.
They ain't playing no defense.
They're going to play it. They're going to play it in spurts when the game gets closer.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I honestly think I like the 4 quarters better though. I mean, I the Kobe thing was cool, but I think I like the 4. Just play a regular game.
I forgot how I even went last year. To be honest,
just play regular game.
I want to see this rising stars.
That's gonna be dope because I actually always liked the rise. I always like the Rising Stars Challenge a little bit better than All-Star Game most years. I
do. Because some of them be ending in blowouts, big blowouts.
Because I've seen better moments over since I started really tuning into basketball like in 2013. I've probably seen more notable. There's not an All-Star moment more notable than Kyrie crossing Brandon Knight. Is there?
Yeah. No, it's not one like at that level, but when Tim Hardaway and Deion Waiters were going there, that was pretty.
I'm saying those were dope too. We don't see them NBA players do back and forth in the All-Star game.
I got you. Okay, I see what you. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm excited to see that too, man. I got to see what this dunk contest is about.
They have when they gonna announce the dunk contest?
Probably next week or over the last couple of weeks, maybe.
I'm done with.
Bro, you not watching it?
I'm done.
You're watching it?
I'm done.
I'll watch the 3-point shootout.
If they put John there, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I watched the 3-point shootout.
I mean, I like the skills competition. Really,
yeah.
That's something I like. I remember Jason Tatum. He didn't want to do. I forgot who was in front of him. He didn't want whoever was in front of him to beat him, so he shot a half court shot and won.
Yeah. That was hella funny. Was it Jokic?
Yeah.
It was a Jokic he beat up.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That does it. For this episode, guys, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to download our latest episodes and all of that good stuff. And we will see you guys on Sunday afternoon with our latest podcast.
Yes, sir.